It's Devyn. This week I'm going to show you how to make your very own maxi dress. Very simple, only a few steps, and not very many materials. I'm really excited to make this dress because I think maxi dresses are very elegant. However, I can never find one that fits me just the way I want it. I really envy the girls that can wear them and they drag the floor and it just looks all super flowy. Whenever I get them, because I'm so tall, they always come to my ankles. So I'm really glad to make this one so I can fit it just the way I want to my body. So I'm going to show you the materials that we'll need in just a second. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little tidbit of information. This dress is going to be made out of jersey fabric. You could make it out of cotton, or you could make it out of whatever material really, but jersey is going to be ideal. Jersey is very flowy. It's very airy because it's a knit fabric. So it's good for hot weather because it'll keep you, kind of cooled off. It's good for cool weather. You can pair it with a jacket. It's really cute. Knit is very soft. It's not as durable. It does have a tendency to rip or just kind of snag sometimes. So that's actually why they use it in retail, because it falls apart, so you won't be able to use it for very long and you'll have to buy new clothing. Sneaky, huh? Yeah. But the great thing about jersey that you're really going to be happy about with this dress is that it doesn't come unraveled, depending where you cut it. Where we're cutting it, it won't come unraveled, so you don't have to hem it, which is great because it's kind of elastic and it's kind of hard to hem it that way. It likes to move over and it can be difficult, but you really don't need to be afraid of it for this project. Super simple. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you the materials that you need. So the first thing that you're going to need is your jersey fabric. This is mine. I got 2 yards of a mid-weight jersey. It was $13.99, and like I said, I used a coupon and I got it for about $10. So that's probably your best option, especially if you're going to a store like Joann's. You're going to want to use a coupon because jersey can be a little pricey. You could use cotton, but it won't be as flowy. I chose a really pretty plum purple because we're going into fall and gem tones are coming out, and this color just goes really great with my skin tone and eye color. But feel free to pick whichever fabric and color you would like. Next, to start sewing, you're going to need pins. Pins are definitely necessary to hold your fabric together, especially this fabric as it can be a little bit slippery. Also, you will need some shears. There is a difference between scissors and shears. Shears are made for cutting fabric, scissors are made for cutting paper. To make sure that your project turns out well, you're gonna want to use some sewing shears. Also, you don't have to use this, but I'm going to. I'm going to be using pinking shears. Pinking shears give a nice finished edge to a project. So you can see by these little grooves right here, when you cut your fabric, it helps it to not come unraveled. We really don't have a big problem with that with our jersey fabric because of the way it's cut. However, I'm going to do it just to make my seams look nice. For marking, you can use tracing paper and a tracing tool. These are very simple to use and very cheap if you don't already have one. You lay the chalky side down on your fabric and you trace whatever you need direction-wise onto your fabric. So I will probably be using this. You don't have to. You could always use pins to mark your fabric. And also a tape measure to help measure your hems and your arm length and your neckline. And of course, to sew, you need thread. I would suggest using a color that matches your fabric the most. I currently don't have a plum color. It's really not necessary since you're not going to actually see the seams. So I'm just going to use a black And of course, you're going to need a sewing machine. That would be the fastest way to make this. Unless you decided to sew it by hand, in which case you are my hero. So let's go ahead and get started with our dress. In case we have any beginner sewers out there, you're going to have to fold your fabric on what is called the right or wrong side and along the selvage side, or selvage edge. So I'm going to show you really quick what this is. It's super simple. The selvage edge is the edge that they used when fabricating, or manufacturing this fabric. You can see it up here. This one you can actually kind of feel. It's a little bit rough right there. It has holes in it from where it was woven. And then this is the cut edge. You can see how it's a little bit more unfinished. So you're going to be folding it like this. Selvage edge to selvage edge. A lot of fabrics will also have a right or wrong side. Your right side is the part that you would see on the outside. So if you were wearing a print fabric, your right side would be the brighter side that you would, want showing when you're wearing it. The wrong side is obviously the other side of it. Fortunately, with this jersey fabric, there is no right or wrong side. It's just whichever one you pick. So that part doesn't necessarily matter. I just wanted to explain to you the selvage edges, as you'll need to know that as we fold it. So what I'm going to do first with this fabric is I'm going to hold it up lengthwise and fold it across on my selvage edges. Alright, once you have folded your fabric, it should look like this. Your selvage edges right here, cut edge right here. You'll see that it is very long. There we go. My camera is not big enough for that. Here's our fabric. You can see right here it kind of doesn't meet all the way. That's going to be alright for this project because you're just going to be sewing a seam right along here. So, the first step, we're basically going to be making a giant pillowcase. We're going to be sewing an edge here, all the way across to there, and then another one right here. That's going to make the top of your dress and the two side seams. The bottom down there is going to be your hem. So I'm going to pin that for you real quick so you can see what that looks like. Alright, I've gone ahead and I pinned my fabric. Give you a little bit of a better visual. That's what it looks like. Very simple. Here I'm going to show you where to pin your pins. You're going to do a 5/8 seam. This is a typical measurement for a seam. You can see right here. I've picked this edge right here, not this one because it's a little bit further out. That's just going to get cut off. So we're going to go right here and you can see right there, 5/8. So if you just do that all the way along, and it's okay if you overlap here, you want your pins facing all in the same direction. See how I have the head here and the tip right there? You're going to pin it like that all the way across so that all you have to do is start from one edge. It's going to start over there because you want the pin to be going this way. So when you're sewing, it goes that way so you can easily just slide the pin right out. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and sew this, and then I will show you how to cut the neckline and the armholes, and then we'll hem it, and then you're done. Alright, so I have sewn my edges. You can see right here. So black will do just fine. Before I pink my edges, what I'm going to do is create the neckline and the armholes. So over here you can see I have found the middle of my fabric. You can do that using your tape measure and start from here, not this edge, because that's not going to count when you're wearing it. You're going to want this edge. So measure from there to the other side, split it in half. Mine's right here. I already snipped it so I know where I'm starting. And we're going to measure 6 inches down. And I've put a pin right here at my 6-inch mark. This is where you would use the tracing paper if you so wish. How you would do that is you lay the chalk side down right here, put this on top, and measure the 6 inches. And then you would use the tracing tool and just trace a straight edge. That way you're getting a straight cut. I, however, am probably just going to do it, by myself freehand. So we're going to cut here 6 inches. That'll give you a modest neckline. You can go further if you wish. However, I'd like to keep my dress a little classy. So we're going to keep it at 6 inches. And I'm going to cut that. And then for the armholes, you're going to measure here to 8 inches. So you can go ahead and like put a pin here and then just cut up the edge, and I will show you what that looks like. After you've cut your neckline, it should look like this. See how it splits in half and it stays nice and even? And over here I've cut my armholes. All I did was I cut in like this, and then I cut right next to the seam, just enough to make a slit, and one up. And as you can see, I've pinked my edges. See how pretty they look? Much better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on and figure out where I'd like my hem to fall. Pardon my room. Okay, here is what the dress looks like. Looks like a big pillowcase. Look how long that is. 2 yards is definitely enough fabric. So I have with me a pin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine where on my dress I would like it to fall, and then I'm going to measure that and go around. So I just wanted you to get a visual of what this will look like. It looks kind of silly right now, especially with my shirt showing underneath, but it'll look good once it's all cinched in and it fits. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, and for our final part, you're just going to pin. Here's my original pin where I wanted it, just a couple inches. Or actually, it's quite a few inches. Anyways, I went ahead and measured it, and then I pinned it all the way across. You're going to want to make sure that this is lying flat and you have your seam all the way out. That way it cuts evenly. So I'm going to cut this across and put it back on and show it to you with the belt. Here is the finished product. Isn't it cute? Very modest neckline. Closed sleeves fit nicely. Very airy, flowy. Fits just where I want it to. You can put the belt lower, higher. Really doesn't matter. This belt I actually made as well out of a gold pleather. I just took 3 strands, braided it, tied some knots right there, and then tied it in the back. So you can even make your own belt or just use one that you already have. So this is the dress. I hope you like it. I think it's adorable. I will be wearing this probably all day now. So I will now announce the winners of a labor-free maxi dress. I got a lot more questions this week on my page and a couple shares, which was a beautiful thing, which means more people were entered into the drawing this week. And I actually used an online name polling generator. So I entered in all the names of people who asked me a question or shared my page, and it randomly selected someone. And this week's winner was Alex DeVault. And so you have won a labor-free maxi dress, which means that you only pay for the materials and not for me to make it. So I'll be contacting you about that and then following probably today or tomorrow to get that started. So thank you everyone for watching and I hope you make it. Super cute. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be posting something on Facebook about what you'll see on my next video and what you could possibly win. So thank you so much for following, and see you next time.